anticlimax there from Facundo Celio.
I don't think anybody knows what's going on. Yeah, so they're going to retake the centre. Yeah, a wee bit of a false start. We had a false start in Germany as well for different reasons, but hopefully this is us now. Yeah, we're underway, Al.
Back underway, and it is back to Szoboszlai again, who lofts it forward, and Jack Hendry gets his head to the ball at the edge of the box. John McGinn looked like he was dragged to the floor, and the Argentinian referee agrees, and it will be a free kick to Scotland midway inside their own half. So Scotland all in the traditional navy strip, and Hungary all in white as they look to kick-start their own tournament, having lost 3-1 to Switzerland and 2-0 to Germany. A much improved showing from them in the second game, but it didn't bring any points. And certainly Scotland upped their game against Switzerland. Made a terrific start there. I think we're all agreed they need to start in a similar way this evening.
Yep, absolutely. And I think just even this opening spell, just in possession just now, Scotland have got the ball. Just find that first touch, get as many people on the ball and comfortable and calm as we can, and then get energy levels going. But it was interesting just looking at that, the centre kick from Hungary. There was 5 players along the halfway line, flooded Anthony Ralston's side of the pitch as the ball went diagonally, so that probably tells you right away their intentions in looking to try and create that overload down this Scotland right hand side.
It's interesting, I noticed Szoboszlai plays, they play with 2 10s effectively, don't they? But Szoboszlai is playing on the right hand side of that. I thought he might fancy operating
he's got a bit of a free roll, Alistair. He'll roam about the pitch.
Here's Che Adams, back to John McGinn, spins and does well to lose his man. He's been dragged back again, and the referee just having a word there with the Hungarian player, Martin Dordoy. And it'll be another free kick to Scotland, this time midway inside the Hungarian half.
It's good from John. He's had a couple of goals so far, fouled twice already in the game, and when he received the ball there, he had a simple pass out to Ralston, but he wanted to take responsibility himself to go and do something. It's a good sign.
Billy Gilmore, right hand side then, to send the ball into the penalty area. Hanley was the target, but he seemed to be climbing on his mark, and it'll be a free kick the way of Hungary. But Scotland on the front foot at least in these opening stages.
Yeah, they are. They've started positively. Just an opportunity early on as well, just to get the ball into the Hungarian box, ask some questions, but Hanley gets it all wrong. He's all over the top of it. Schaefer definitely a foul. But I think it's so important that as quickly as we can, Scotland get into that attacking third and you know, ask some questions defensively, set the tone.
Back to Peter Gilacci, who's in a couple of games that I've watched, or the moments of the games I've watched, hasn't necessarily covered himself in glory. It was potentially slightly at fault for, I think, the first German goal the other day, and we're hoping he doesn't have his best evening in Stuttgart tonight, as Scotland have the throw it over on the left hand side, more or less in line with the 18-yard box. It'll be taken by Scott McKenna. That one change from the team that started against the Swiss, with Kieran Tierney having to go home with a hamstring injury. Che Adams this time on the receiving end of a hefty challenge, but referee content to allow play to continue, and Scotland continue in possession as Hanley plays it to the right hand side to Hendry, who continues on the right hand side of the back three. Back infield to Hanley, midway inside his own half, and McKenna, the left footer, is operating of course on the left hand side of it. Gilmore comes short to take possession and plays it out to Hendry, who just turns away from Soloy up towards Adams, and it's not back to McTominay midway inside the Hungary half. Good stuff from Scotland in these opening few minutes. Still 0-0 as McGregor plays it to Hendry, but 10 yards inside the Hungary half. Out to Ralston, tries to take on his man. Now McGinn helps him out. Right hand side here, back to Ralston and then back to Hendry on the halfway line. Good possession in these opening minutes from the Scots as McGregor helps it out to McKenna, left hand side, about 10 yards inside the Hungary half. It's Hungary who are having to sit deep just at the moment, struggling to get on the ball. It's played out to Robertson.
Yeah, they're not pressing us when we've got the ball in defence. They're happy for our 3 centre halves just to have the ball, and then they'll engage when it goes into midfield. But we're enjoying a lot of possession, which is really good for the players, as Leanne says, to get early touches of the ball and find your confidence.
Thrown on the far side to Scotland, more or less right on the halfway line. McKenna and Robertson will try and engineer a relationship that tries to closely replicate that Tierney and Robertson have built up over the years. McKenna down the line it goes with the throw in into the chest of McTominay, who continued that tradition of players with their names starting with Mick being the goal scorers at the Euros. And let's hope either he or McGinn or actually absolutely anyone with a Scotland jersey can get on the score sheet tonight. Scotland still coming forward down that left-hand side. It's swept high in the air though by the Hungarian defence, returned by McKenna. Now Jack Hendry just keeping a close eye on it, and then turns the ball all the way back to Angus Gunn from the halfway line. Gunn at the edge of his penalty area. We've played 5.5 minutes in the Stuttgart Arena, and it's Scotland 0, Hungary 0, but a bright start from the Scots, no real threat at either end though.
No, it has. It's been a really good start from Scotland. Actually, Jack Hendry stood out a couple of times for me. What's important, as Tomo mentioned, Hungary are not coming pressing Scotland, so it's important at times that one of those centre-back steps into the game and finds that pass, creates that overload in the middle of the pitch. But Henry just looks like he wants the ball all the time, which I love.
Hendry Botka getting a talking to there for a late challenge on McTominay. It'll be another Scotland free kick. This time over towards the left-hand side, about 20 yards into the Hungary half, and another opportunity for the defenders to go up and offer their aerial threat. And Steve Clark, no doubt, will be pretty pleased by the way his side have begun this game, as you see Austin McPhee down at the edge of the technical area barking instructions as to what he wants to see done here.
Yeah, Callum McGregor's got a problem with his left boot, so he's just sent one of the kit men in to get a new pair of boots for him.
It's going to be Robertson then to take this left-footed, almost glanced on at the near post by Adams. It's defended well by Hungary, and McGregor gets it back to Robertson, about 10 yards inside the Hungary half. Plays it square to Ralston. Ralston's got a bit of time and space. He can move forward. Can he find a decent ball into the box? It's headed down, and it almost came through there for Shea Adams, but Hungary with a last-ditch despairing header to get away. Now they come on the counter. Hungary looking to make an impact at the other end all of a sudden. Robertson tracking his man pretty well. Shawlaw is furthest advanced, and it breaks out to the right-hand side for Hungary. A effort at goal, scooped away by Gunn and then headed back to him by Andy Robertson. Not the most secure of goalkeeping, but Robertson there on hand to nod it back to Angus Gunn. And after 7 minutes or so, it's Scotland 0, Hungary 0.
Yeah, we just got to be careful. We lost our shape a wee bit there, and it was a counter-attack from Hungary. Ended up with a shot and goal. It's a difficult one for Angus Gunn because it dips viciously right in front of him. He does well to pop it up into the air, but thankfully for us, we're a recovering player there.
And it's Bola with that effort from about 25 yards as Scotland, who've been bossing the attacking play so far, found themselves having to recover. But Gunn doing enough to keep it out, certainly, and Andy Robertson on hand to help him out. Played in field by McKenna to Gilmour inside the centre circle. Gilmour with a little reverse pass which virtually no one else in the stadium could see for Adams. Adams out to Robertson, left-hand side, back in field to McGregor, midway inside the Hungary half. Gilmour again available, looking for further options. McGinn gets a little touch out to Hendry, midway inside the Hungary half still, right-hand side into Gilmour. Takes a touch in field, and now it's McGregor. McGregor plays it square to McKenna. Hungary with everyone behind the ball inside their own half. Hanley plays it short to Gilmour as the Scots try to carve out the first opening of the game for them. And now McGregor picks back up in the centre circle. Here's Hendry, right-hand side, again looking to get on the ball, as Leanne has mentioned. Back to McGregor once more. Scotland dominating the ball at this stage. It's Gilmour just takes a chance in the middle of the park, almost dispossessed, but it does break kindly for McGregor. Right-hand side is Ralston, back to Hendry. Hendry's looking for a run from Adams there in the channel, doesn't get it, and so he goes back in field to McGregor. He plays it to McTominay, who just tries to pop it off for Gilmour, but it's slightly astray, and it'll be retrieved by Hanley.
The thing is, we're not really looking like a threat in behind. It's so condensed in the middle of the park, and Henry's saying to Adams, offer me something in behind, because everything's getting played centrally. We've got so much of the ball, and we're showing a lot of composure on the ball and passing it well, but we're not really threatening because everything's so central. It's so compressed.
Yeah, you think that opposition teams know that Scotland effectively are going to play in this manner, aren't they? So they know how to combat it. But here's McKenna trying to get forward, it breaks down, it'll break back to Hanley just inside his own half. We played almost 10 minutes in Stuttgart. It's Scotland 0, Hungary 0. Scotland have seen a lot of the ball in these opening exchanges. No efforts on goal for them as yet. Guns had one shot from Bola to deal with, which he managed to do so. Here's Hendry once more on the halfway line, plays it forward to him again, a little touch through, looking for the run of Adams, but it's shepherded back to his goalkeeper by Orban. Clearance from Gulaci is nodded down by Gilmour, but he can't find a teammate, and it's picked up in the midfield by Schaefer, who's joined in there by the Barnsley player Callum Stiles, who is English born, but his grandparents allow him to qualify for Hungary. Scotland picked up in a good position, but the referee has picked out a free kick there. I think it was Hendry's challenge that was penalised, and he's complaining about that decision, and he's been told to just watch his mouth effectively there. But is there enough in that, Leanne?
Nah, not for me. I actually thought Hendry did really well. It just applies a bit of physical pressure, just almost shoulder to shoulder. A break in play. Callum McGregor's taking the opportunity to change his boot, as Tomo had mentioned. But listen, Scotland have started the game well in possession. I actually think at points Scotland are a better team without the ball, and in those moments that you allow Hungary to have it in their own defensive third, if you like, it gives Scotland that opportunity to go and press him with the energy of the likes of John McGinn underneath the ball, Scott McTominay. But it does nothing for the, it does everything, sorry, for the confidence to have the ball and dictate the game, certainly.
Hungary in possession. They're playing against 10 men just at the moment because Callum McGregor's still down. They play the ball down the left channel, but it's a wayward one, and easy for Angus Gunn to come off his line and collect, and then bowl out to McKenna, and McGregor returns to the fray, having changed his footwear. Hanley just rolls it forward to Billy Gilmour. 0-0 here. We'll keep you up to date with the scoreline. Also between Switzerland and Germany, it's effectively a moot point unless it comes to a stage where there's going to be a big goal swing in terms of goal difference if Scotland are winning and Germany also winning. We need at least 6, possibly 7 goal swing for Scotland to take second place in that event. But let's
just settle for one goal out.
Let's get Scotland in front first.
Let's settle for one. Yeah, that'll do us. I mean, as much as we've enjoyed a lot of possession in the opening 12 minutes, there's a lack of options for the centre halves of ours when they're on the ball. It's just getting popped into midfield, back to centre half, into midfield, back to centre half. We need to see more movement in forward areas, whether that comes from a McTominay running behind or an Adams spinning. Everything seems to want to come short.
Throw in to Hungary over on the far side, about 10 yards inside the Scotland half. Back it goes to Botka, and then to the left-hand side to Martin Dardai of Hertha Berlin. He actually plays there with 2 of his brothers under his father, which is probably a unique situation in world football. And he plays the ball straight out of play as he was looking for Roland Scholloy of Freiburg. There's going to be a throw into Scotland deep in their own territory, right-hand side, which Jack Hendry will come across to take. Hendry about 15 yards or so from the corner flag on the right-hand side. Steve Clark trying to get some instruction to him at the edge of his technical area. Referee just keeping a close eye on John McGinn, who's backing into Kerkez here. And the referee just
brilliant, isn't it?
How strong is he?
Goes forward as far as Adams, but
handball.
Yeah, the referee I think has given a free kick to Hungary for a handball by Adams. So a free kick to Hungary, more or less in the halfway line, left-hand side, to be taken by Dominic Szoboszlai, who I think it was Neil was saying pretty much hasn't really lit the tournament up as yet. He finished the season, I think he was carrying a bit of a knock, not really in top form, and it's continued into the Euros and hopefully continues again tonight. But he is a top quality player.
There's no doubt about that, sure. Alistair. Really, really good player. He can do everything.
Playing his 27th consecutive internationals. He flights the ball into the Scotland penalty area, but it's easily taken by Angus Gunn, and so 14 minutes on the clock. It's still Scotland 0, Hungary 0. I suppose the key is, you hear people talking about it, you don't have to go and win the game in the opening 15 minutes. You have to make sure you're not out of it by that stage, I guess.
Yeah, no, and I think that's spot on, and we've obviously learned our lesson from that. We've had it both ways. We've got the quick start in the Switzerland game, but we've been punished in the Germany game. So I think just a bit of caution in this opening 15-20 minutes for me is okay. As Tom alluded to, I think there can be a bit more penetration just in terms of the movement up top, just to allow a different type of outlet. Everything that Scotland are trying just now, it's all to feet. The pass that you pointed out, Al, from Billy Gilmour, it was round the corner into Shea Adams' feet, but I think at points it's on just to spin the channel and go and ask some questions down the sides. Can you get an overload? Can you go and look to, even if it's a throw-in or a corner higher up the pitch, just ask constant questions defensively. Let's see what Hungary are all about tonight.
Jack Hendry picks up. Yeah, they don't have, I mean, as I say, they've been qualifying for the last couple of Euros before this one as well, but they don't have a particularly good record at major competitions. In fact, no wins in the last 8 games, and a defeat or failing to win tonight would equal Russia's record of 9 games without a victory at the Euros. As Jack Hendry picks up on the halfway line, plays it infield to Grant Hanley, just inside the Scotland half. It's a 1-2 there with McTominay, who's got a big role once more tonight and trying to get close to Shea Adams if possible, as does John McGinn. Here's Hanley, forward it goes to Robertson, who's playing pretty high. His first touch rather lets him down there, and it's out for a throw-in to Hungary over on the far side, about 20 yards inside the half. I'm just looking at the TV monitors, a lot of nervous people around the stadium, isn't there?
There is so many faces actually in the crowd as well. Probably the Scotland crowd look much more nervous than the Hungarians. They've been in full voice, and I'm just waiting for the Tartan Army just to kick into force. Might take something, just that moment, just that little spark that gives them the confidence that they need to believe that Scotland are certainly in it to win it tonight.
Germany have gone a goal up against Switzerland, and it's Robert Andrich who has scored that goal for them. So the hosts and group leaders in command again, this time against Switzerland, as Hungary pick up possession on the right hand side, and it's Robertson though who gets back and makes a good challenge, and then McKenna turns it back to Angus Gunn from the left hand side and then gets it back once more midway inside his own half. McGregor is the option he chooses, and he tries to turn the ball forward. It's played off Soloy there, and behind for a goal kick to Scotland, as we see a shot there of Marco Rossi, the Italian in charge of Hungary, who'll be looking to at last get a victory at this tournament.
There's a bit of a lack of intensity in the game for me, and I think because we've had a lot of possession and we're knocking it about the back, and they're set up to kind of almost counter us, it's slowing the game down. That looked a bad one.
That's going to be a yellow card for Callum Styles. He goes right through John McGinn there, sliding in, and well, we know by now, particularly in the international stage, as soon as you go to ground, you're taking a risk, and he goes into the referee's notebook.
Yeah, and he wasn't in control of the ball. I think that's the difference as well, Styles. There's not an awful lot of contact. It's more the trailing leg that comes through and certainly takes John.
I think it's one of those that looked worse on first viewing live on the pitch. When you see the replay, it's probably been unlucky for the guy not to get, or for the guy to be booked.
Well, Germany goal's been ruled out, so that's back to 0-0. There's a handball involved in VAR review. Means it's still 0-0 as it is here after 18 minutes. Scotland with a little bit more possession. In fact, 76% possession. I notice on my right hand
most
side
of it
here.
Between the centre halves and Billy Gilmour, though.
And when you talk about that, the tempo, Tom, well, actually that's my point. I think Scotland are able to set the tempo better when they don't have the ball. I actually think they struggle when teams just say, you know what, take it, go and break us down, causes some problems. Whereas when the game's there to be chased and you can go and, as you described it, to rat in the middle of the pitch and get after folk, I think that suits our players better. Forward
it comes, and there's a opportunity there almost with Jack Hendry able to cut out before Roland Sholai was able to latch onto the through ball, but it was one-on-one there. It was a crucial challenge from Hendry as Scotland win themselves another free kick on the halfway line for the foul on McTominay. But important that Hendry got back there and got that interception.
He did well. It was a good pass, and he was almost in a 1v1 situation. He had to get his body in front of the striker, and he did well to kind of get us out of that situation. Looked for a second as though it could be troublesome for us.
Here is Hendry once more out to the right hand side for Ralston. He just lofts it over his marker and finds Gilmour. Gilmour gets a yard of space there. He's up against Styles on the right hand side. Styles sticking closely to him. Gilmour goes back to Hendry, who's got time to perhaps measure a pass here. Well, he thought about the ball into the box, then he goes square to Hanley, and the momentum rather goes out of that attack. But Scotland still in possession. It's Henry once more. Now Ralston plays it through the legs of his marker now. McGinn just backing in, gets himself a yard of space, swings it into the back post, but it's over everyone and behind for a goal kick. And after almost 20 minutes, it's Scotland 0, Hungary 0.
Yeah, it's a decent enough ball in terms of what John McGinn was looking to try and do, but he overhits it. The play's good though, I like it, getting John McGinn into that higher position. He uses his body really well, manages to spin and take it onto his left foot. He's probably thinking that Andy Robertson, who had made the run just maybe 10 seconds prior to that when Jack Henry had the ball and he was searching for it at the back area, but Robertson had just kind of delayed his position to the edge of the box. But it's better from Scotland just in terms of Gilmour getting beyond, McGinn getting higher up the pitch, getting Scott McTominay into the box, getting Andy Robertson to the edge of the box to support.
We need to see more of it. We need to see more deliveries into the box. If that's going to be the way we're going to get a goal, because essentially it's so congested, it'll be difficult. But out wide, we can find a wee bit of joy. Just go and ask more questions, because we know McTominay is so good at making those runs into the box.
Kerkez plays it against McGinn, and he's dragged him to the ground. It's going to be a Scotland free kick in a good area, and perhaps a yellow card as well for Kerkez. Well, the referee's let him off for that one, but John McGinn has won Scotland a free kick about 15 yards from the goal line, right hand side.
He started the game really well, as John McGinn. For me, he looks so up for it tonight, and when he's getting it, he's not taking easy decisions. He's using his body, as we're so used to seeing, and trying to drive us forward when he can. It's a really good opportunity.
It is Andy Robertson a yard or two in from the right touchline, about 15, no more than that, from the goal line, right hand side. Scotland with plenty bodies in and around the penalty area. It's a low ball, it's not a good one from Andy Robertson, and it's easily cleared by Hungary. And it's got to be better, isn't it?
That's got to be better. We spoke about that following the Swiss game. There was so many opportunities, and Andy Robertson knows it himself. Nobody needs to tell him there. As soon as the ball left his foot, he threw his head backwards, so frustrated that his connection with the ball just wasn't good enough, especially when you throw bodies like that into the box. We can carry a real threat. We do have players that are aerially very strong.
Andy Robertson's staying right up front. He's playing almost in the striker role just at the moment. Scotland will have the ball at the back, and it's back from McKenna to Gunn, who left-footed knocks it first time up towards Robertson, who's well into the Hungary half. Headed out of play though over on the far side by Endre Botka. Robertson quickly takes the throw in into McGregor and then gets it back and then plays it to McKenna just inside his own half. We've played a quarter of the game so far. It's Scotland 0, Hungary 0. You listen to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland and on BBC Sounds, and remember, if you're listening on the BBC Sounds app, you can rewind the action. You can pretty much do whatever you like. It's such a useful thing to have. Get that downloaded as John McGinn tries to connect there with Shea Adams. Ball breaks back for Henry, who forces it forward again. Adams battling away there, so too McGinn. It comes back to Gilmour. Gilmour with a short pass to Ralston. Ralston started quite confidently, which is good to see. Hasn't been rattled by maybe a substandard performance in the last couple of games. And Hungary, they'll have possession back on the edge of their own penalty area. It's Dordoy playing up to the halfway line. Hanley wins the header easily above Varga, who can certainly be dangerous given the opportunity. It's played forward, and McGinn gets his head on it. Adams struggling to latch onto it, though, behind for a goal kick to Hungary. 23 minutes and a half played, and it's Scotland 0, Hungary 0.
I was expecting more from Hungary, to be honest with you. I mean, we knew that probably they were the weakest team that we would face in the group, but they really have come out with a game plan to try and soak up pressure and try and hit us in the counter, but they're not looking, to me, like anything like, obviously not Germany, but even Switzerland. No,
I don't really see where the goal threat is going to come from, unless it is a Scotland mistake and we lose the ball and it is that quick transition. But you're right to point out about Anthony Ralston as well, Al. I think he's a couple of touches that he's had already, loads more positivity about his play, looking to try and lace those passes into Shea Adams' feet, passes into the middle of the pitch, whereas in the Switzerland game it was all very much going backwards.
Scotland come into this match with just 2 defeats in 14 competitive games, and those came against Spain and of course the first game here against Germany. But what we really need tonight is a victory. 8 of those games have been wins, 4 draws. Scotland looking to add to the tally of wins tonight to take themselves into the last 16, almost certainly. Wouldn't quite be confirmed with a win tonight, but no team in the last couple of Euros since we've moved to this current format have failed to go through with 4 points. Jack Hendry putting good pressure on, but again he's been penalised for just being slightly overzealous perhaps in the referee's view, and it's going to be a free kick to Hungary midway inside their own half, left hand side. Precious little for either goalkeeper to use. Angus Gunn, the only one who's been called into action on one occasion, and he was able to deal with the danger from the long range effort. So Hungary in possession midway inside their own half. No real urgency to their play either, it has to be said. They do know that they have to win if they're to have any chance of winning. That's a good interception by Ralston, plays it infield to his Celtic teammate McGregor, who's tracked by Styles midway inside the Hungary half. He goes back the way though as he holds off Styles and plays it to Hanley, and now McKenna plays the 1-2 McTominay, who's continued his run forward. McKenna's just slightly ponderous in possession and doesn't play it back to McKenna, and goes back to Hanley instead. And now Hendry for Ralston. Ralston into the feet of Adams. Adams holding it up and then leaving it for McGinn. Was he caught there by Willie Orban? Yes, he was. It's a yellow card for Willie Orban, who is a highly experienced player with Leipzig, but he's made a couple of mistakes early in this tournament, and that was a poor challenge on John McGinn. Another Scotland free kick.
Yeah, he's just a bit late. I mean, I don't think he means to do John there. John's kicked the ball, and with his follow-through, he's connected with Orban. It's another one, again, that looked worse than it probably was.
Yeah. But I actually think John McGinn will be enjoying this level of involvement as well, Tom. Yeah, likes to mix it.
So it's going to be Billy Gilmore to take this one. It's midway inside the Hungary half, right-hand side, just about 10 yards in from the touchline. Scotland looking to threaten Peter Galacci in the Hungary goal for the first time, and it comes towards the back post. It's a Hungary head that wins it. McGregor, though, at the edge of the box, keeps it alive for McGinn, who just slides it back into McGregor, tries to force it into the penalty area, but again Hungary get it away. Ralston looking to apply the pressure, but Hungary get it further clear. Scotland win it back once more though, and it's Hendry picking up midway inside the Hungary half, looking for options. Plays it infield to McGregor. McGregor's giving it away in the middle of the park. It's a poor pass, and Hungary will try to counter. Scotland will get plenty of bodies back, but Hungary still in possession, and out to the left-hand side now. It's Kerkez coming forward on the left. Plays it off Anthony Ralston. A sore one for Ralston. Behind for the corner. And Ralston...
It'll take him a wee minute here, I'd imagine.
Yeah, he felt that one in a tender area, but it will be a Hungary corner, and again, it all came about just a slack pass from Callum McGregor way up the other end.
Yeah, no, it was, and it came though from Jack Hendry taking far too long to find the initial pass into Callum McGregor, which he's done a number of times now. He's slowing the tempo down. He started for me the first 10 minutes really well. His involvement was very good, but now he's just quite hesitant when he's looking for those searching passes. I don't know if it's because he feels he's got the time to do that.
Orban and McGinn getting a talking to from the referee, who's going to stand for no nonsense inside that 6-yard box. The corner's taken short though, back to Kerkez by Soboslai, who picks up possession once more. Then he swings it into the box, one for Grant Hanley to go and win, which he does. Breaks to the edge of the box, and it's broken for Shea Adams. And now comes Scotland on the counter-attack as they did against Switzerland. What can Adams do here? He's got a couple of players up with him in the shape of McGinn, but he's checked back the way for McGregor. There's a Hungarian player lying prone.
Ref's just noticed it now.
Lying prone in the Scotland penalty area, and play will be stopped here.
Well, I mean, he didn't notice it, and if it is a head knock, which we'll be able to see once we get a replay of it, then he should be alerted to that by his other officials, and he should have stopped the game instantly instead of waiting the 10 seconds it took us to counter. He takes a bit of an elbow from Grant Hanley in the side of the face. So essentially it is a head knock, and the referee's right to eventually stop the play, but it should have happened quicker.
Yeah, and the counter-attack could have been better, but in the end it would have been stopped. As it was, I mean, he made contact with his elbow. There was nothing malicious in there by Hanley
but
at all.
he did catch him. He caught him.
Well, Switzerland have taken a lead against Germany, would you believe? Ndoye on the score sheet for the Swiss. If the goal stands, of course. We'll confirm that for you in a moment or two. Yeah, that's been given. So Switzerland leads by a 0-0, and that would be enough if that result were to stay the same for them to win the group on the head-to-head between themselves and Germany, as Hendry is a bit clumsy there, and he's hurt himself in the challenge there, but he's given away the free kick as he just lost track of the ball really in the air, and he said he was stood on by Soloy, but he kind of dragged him to the ground there, and it's going to be a Hungarian free kick, more or less on the halfway line, left-hand side. 0-0.
Henry just gets himself caught, doesn't he? His feet, in terms of back pedalling, a bit of a tangle. He does go to ground, I wouldn't say, and he is trodden on quite heavily, but I don't think there's any malice in it. Certainly,
he just got himself in a wee bit of a fankle.
No action taken beyond the awarding of the free kick, which is left-hand side for Szoboszlai to fire in towards the edge of the penalty area. Grant Hanley goes up and wins it again, but directs it straight back to Soloy at the edge of the penalty area. Comes from left out to the right-hand side as Hungary look to try and threaten here. Ball comes in, it's knocked away by McKenna. Adams can't hold it up. McTominay comes in to help him out. Scotland can't get it clear though, and they've given away a free kick in a good position here for Hungary, about 28 yards from goal perhaps. They just couldn't get the lines clear, and this could be dangerous.
It was all a bit scrappy, 3 or 4 kind of ricochets, and then eventually Adams does. It's a foul. He's got a nudge right into the back of Styles at the edge of the box, and I don't want to tempt fate, but Szoboszlai from this range is very, very good.
He's just too eager to go and win it, Adams, and I think he does that because just a second before he loses possession, because he takes a poor touch. I think he feels like he's put his team in the mix, but certainly a dangerous area to concede from.
Yeah, Dominic Szoboszlai stepping up here over the dead ball situation. 12 goals for his country. No team scored more goals from set pieces in qualifying than Hungary, with 7. One of them was a direct free kick. As Szoboszlai lines this one up, he's pulled the ball back a couple of yards, I think, from where the actual foul took place. He's taken it back to about 30 yards here, right on the cut of the pitch there. And it's very central as he steps up, right-footed, comes off the top of the wall, and it'll be behind for a Hungary corner. And the danger over momentarily, but more to deal with here. 31 and a half played. It's Scotland 0, Hungary 0.
Yeah, the wall certainly does its job. I think it's McKenna that it comes off of, isn't it, with the head?
Spoken about this once or twice, but again, only McGregor really out for the short corner, and Hungary might choose to work that as they did previously. It's Szoboszlai from the left-hand side here. He swings this one in straight into the 6-yard box. Gunn and Hanley getting in each other's way, but Hanley deals with it well enough. But Hungary still trying to make something of it at the edge of the penalty. Eventually just whacked away by Ralston over the halfway line. Anywhere will do. As we look at our live table, which shows Switzerland leading the table.
It's been a better last couple of minutes this for Hungary. I feel as though they've been really quite passive in the game up until probably just 25 minutes, and they've started to show a wee bit more confidence in the ball, looked a wee bit more of a threat in these last few minutes.
They have a throw-in on the far side on the halfway line, swept forward by the left foot of Grant Hanley up towards Shea Adams. He's struggled rather to hold the ball up in these
he's got to do better.
Opening minutes.
He's got to do better, Alistair, when we are clearing the ball like that, and that wasn't the worst ball up to him.
There's a good bit of play in the left-hand side from Soloy as the Hungarians do grow in confidence. Szoboszlai threads it through. Hendry chooses to leave it. Comes all the way through to Vargas. Left-hand side is Kerkez. Szoboszlai gets it back to Kerkez. Left-hand side crossing opportunity. A good one. It just takes a nick, I think, off McTominay there on its way through. It was an important header, whoever got onto it, and it's out on the far side now for a Hungary throw-in. But Hungary definitely coming more into this, Leanne.
Yeah, Scotland lucky to get off with that there, because Jack Henry actually allows the ball to be played down the inside of him. I don't know if he thought, it was covered a bit better than it was, but certainly a good strong header from McTominay, who'd backed himself into a good defensive position inside the box.
Hungary have it, certainly beginning to enjoy more possession, but Scotland still dominant in that respect. But Hungary see more of the ball and getting into better areas, you'd have to say, than Scotland as well. And it is Hungary coming forward once more here through Schaefer, right-hand side. And back it goes to Bola, and now Styles, who spent the second half of last season on loan at Sunderland from Barnsley. He's not playing at a particularly high level, but here it comes at Soloy from about 25 yards off target from distance as he tried to beat Angus Gunn. No real threat for the keeper there, but certainly Hungary have had more of a threat in the final third than the Scots, but it's 0-0.
Yeah, they have, and it's a kind of similar pattern to what we've seen in the tournament so far. we are struggling to create opportunities from open play. I must have said it 10 times over the last 3 games, and the opposition are creating better opportunities than us. All right, it's been 2 shots from distance, 3 if you include the free kick, but they're looking more threatening than we are.
We just don't have any natural width. It's a massive problem. It's not Anthony Ralston's game to go down the right-hand side, higher up the pitch. And on the left-hand side, you're really having to work at it, to fabricate it, to get Andy Robertson into a position that you can carry that threat.
It's going to be a Hungary free kick for a foul by Ralston, just about 10 yards inside their own half, and it's played back the way to Dordoy. He plays it down the left-hand side to Soboslai, who's just trying to get on the ball a little bit more to try and dictate play. Back it goes to Orban, and then Styles, who's dropped back into the back 3 for just a moment. He plays it through the middle, but Hanley cuts it out and finds Gilmour, who we haven't seen on the ball in the last 10 minutes or so, and he's lost it in the middle of the park, and he just has a little tug of the jersey of Sholloy, but not enough to really impede him. But Hungary continue in possession. It's Styles out to the left-hand side for his midfield partner Schaefer. Now back with Dordoy. He goes back to his goalkeeper Peter Gulacsi, the 34-year-old who suffered a dreadful knee injury playing against Celtic in the Champions League a couple of seasons back. And Hungary pick up possession once more in the middle of the park. Soboslai out to Varga. Now it's Sholloy. Stopped by the challenge there of Hendry, but does enough to get it back to Schaefer. And now out to Kerkez, left-hand side, midway inside the Scotland half. Back he goes to Dordoy in the halfway line, and infield into the centre circle to Orban. Orban plays it back to Dordoy just inside his own half. McGinn goes to try and close him down, can't quite get there in time, and it's played forward. There's an offside flag up against Hungary. It'll be a Scotland free kick midway inside their own half. But played 36 minutes here. Pretty uneventful, you'd have to say, certainly in an attacking sense for Scotland, who have dominated the ball, but haven't been able to manufacture what you would call a goal-scoring opportunity, and that's why it's Scotland 0, Hungary 0.
Yeah, it's been boring, Al, in the build-up, certainly. No real threat in the final third, and just in the last 10 minutes or so, as you mentioned, Hungary have come right into the game, but Billy Gilmour for me in the last few minutes has been caught 2-3 times in possession, looking to try and take an extra touch, just losing his bearings ever so slightly. Hungary certainly in that midfield area centrally, taking a bit more control in the game than what they've had up until this point. So Scotland just need to sharpen things up, bring a bit more tempo, get the ball into the opposition half a bit quicker.
Hanley's on the ball, bringing it up towards the centre circle, plays it forward to Gilmour, who just plays it back to the central defender, not once but twice. Back with Hanley again, just inside his own half, looking for options ahead of him, not too much in the way of movement.
So slow.
Yeah, Scotland deliberating on the ball. Still it's Hanley, and he plays it into Adams, out to the right hand side this time for Ralston, as Scotland just try to lift the tempo slightly. Back with Hendry, he slides it forward for McGinn. McGinn from the right hand side plays it back to Gilmour. Gilmour for McGregor. Good. Now a bit of tempo and good quick passing out to McKenna. McKenna out to the left hand side, 25 yards from goal is Robertson. Robertson back to McGregor. Hungary have closed down the options once more, and it's out to Hendry and then Ralston. Ralston will be closed down by Kerkez, just plays it through his legs again for McGinn. Now he gets it back. Ralston almost at the goal line, plays it towards the back post. Adams will go and try and win it, breaks back to McTominay. McTominay on the edge of the box trying to manufacture something, won't just sit down for him, and Hungary able to put a boot in and knock it away. McKenna wins the header, looking for McGinn. McGinn brings it under control, right hand side, better from Scotland here. Again Ralston makes the move, McGinn swings it in near post, but too close to Peter Gulacsi, who clutches that comfortably. 38 minutes played, Scotland 0, Hungary 0, but just better in the last minute or so there.
Yeah, it's to and fro now. That was a better 2-minute spell for us there, keeping good possession. We managed to switch the play a couple of times. They did finally get penetration from Tony Ralston down this right hand side before John swung in that ball. Nobody made the move across the front post. They were all staying central to the back post, and the ball of course flashed across the front.
Ralston's been penalised again. The referee's just saying, I think that's probably your last warning. Just lifted the ball to just slow things down after. Yeah, there is a touch on Sholloy there.
It's down the back of his Achilles, isn't it?
See why it was given.
The difference it makes though for Scotland when they actually break the lines a lot quicker, whether it's into Adams or it's into McGinn, and then you can get the bodies supporting underneath it. That's where Scotland can carry a threat.
Free kick taken by Soboslai in the halfway line up towards the edge of the penalty, won by, I think it was Orban at the back post, initially defended by Scotland. That's a high boot there from Adams, and it's going to be an indirect free kick. Actually, the referee is indicating for dangerous play, but nonetheless it is a free kick in a dangerous area because Adams had his foot very high there.
Yeah, again, we're struggling to clear defensive situations convincingly. Adams goes for a spectacular kind of overhead kick. He doesn't touch the player for Hungary, but he goes down holding his head and the referee buys it.
But the boot was high, it was up at head.
It was, that's true.
Well, this is another good position from a dead ball situation for Hungary, this time about 25 yards from goal, right of centre, but not too far right, and Szoboszlai will fancy his chances again. 5 minutes before the break, Scotland fans hold their breath, willing this one to stay out as Angus Gunn lines up his wall. John McGinn's line behind the wall. Szoboszlai prepares to take aim here. Up he steps, Hungary captain. He dinks it towards the back post, and the header comes on, clips the top of the bar from Orban, and it will be, I think the offside flag had perhaps gone up against Willie Orban as he met the header and clipped the top of the bar in any event, but that was close.
That's really close, really nice delivery. They've been very tight, maybe just marginally off. Right enough, but Scotland just switch off.
He's got to hit the back of the net, Leanne. That goes down in my book as a sitter. It was a brilliant free kick from Szoboszlai. Drifted it in behind everyone. I think he might have been half a yard off.
Just off.
But another let-off for us.
Yeah, it certainly was. We weren't alive to that possibility, I don't think, of that not being a direct shot on goal, and almost paid the price, but it does remain 0-0 with 4 minutes remaining plus stoppage time. Scotland haven't troubled Gulaci in the Hungarian goal at all, and Steve Clarke said in his pre-match interview, win, but win with caution. Has there been too much caution out there for you two?
I don't even know if it's caution. I think it's just a lack of creativity. That this system, when you don't have the personnel and the players in it, like a Hickey, perhaps a Tierney, just to allow Robertson that bit more freedom to go and attack, you don't carry the same threat. That's why we had kind of looked at it and discussed whether he'd possibly change and go to a 4 just to try and get another attacking option higher up the pitch, and also with that front three naturally gives you the width straight away, whereas I think Scotland are having to try and manufacture that a bit much, and by the time they actually get there and into the areas that they want to be, the opportunity's gone. You look at the work that Adams is doing just now, it's all kind of out of possession and working back in defensively, as we've seen him concede a couple of free kicks now. It's not in the final third where you would want him to be.
Ralston wins possession and goes back to Hanley, edge of his own penalty area. Scotland 0, Hungary 0. Draw might be enough, but we certainly cannot bank on that. As Shea Adams picks up in a good position and is able to get the cross in, but only McTominay in the middle. Robertson couldn't get there in time, and it's whacked clear there by Bola up to the halfway line. Picked up by Hanley just inside his own half. It's square for Gilmour. Gilmour just leaves it there to McKenna, but 10 yards inside his own half. It's square to Hanley. Scotland again slowing it down, perhaps lulling the Hungarians into a false sense of security. Now it's Hendry. Hendry picks out a good ball now for Adams. Adams tries to switch a play, look to be better options on, and he can't find Robertson with that switch, but it's broken in the middle of the park there. Hanley can't quite make it. Oh, Hendry's gone in with 2 feet there. It's a Hungary free kick, and I think actually the yellow card is going to be shown. It was Schaefer who went in. I thought Jack Hendry went in rather dangerously.
I think they both did. We'll not see till we get the replay. It looked a really aggressive challenge, both fully committed. I wonder whether Hendry was higher than Schaefer when the actual challenge is made. Yeah,
but then I wonder if Schaefer's actually put himself in a bit of bother, just the way that he's went in there. We'll get a better look at it now. Just here's the replay. Nah, I don't see too much.
Nah, I don't think
either way to call it. I think both players.
Well, maybe Schaefer does come down on top of the ankle.
Yeah, and then just the connection.
Hendry.
Schaefer's took a real blow just to the inside of the right shin.
A committed tackle by two committed players.
Which that's the one thing that you can say both players have been bang at it in the game.
Yeah.
You can see what's on the line. Even Grant Hanley, Scott McKenna, really dominant in terms of just being aggressive, looking to go and win every header, every ball that comes into the box.
So Scotland free kick more or less in the centre spot for Andy Robertson to try and create something with in the final minute of the 45. He plays it towards the back post there inside the penalty area. Hanley does get to it first. McTominay picks up on the angle of the box, left hand side, plays it back to McGregor. McGregor will play it square to Gilmour. Gilmour helps it on to McGinn, about 35 yards from goal, clips it in now towards Adams and McTominay. It breaks in the 6-yard box to Galacci, who's off his line sharply, and the danger is over, and it remains Scotland 0, Hungary 0.
I can see what John McGinn's trying, but it's a kind of straight delivery. It's a difficult one to go and attack. I thought we could maybe have shifted it once more just out to Anthony Ralston, the right hand side, and I don't know if Scott McTominay had perhaps just strayed offside as well. But the threat looking to try and get the ball into the Hungary box is more positive.
A minute of stoppage time added on. We're into that now. No goals in this first half. Switzerland lead Germany by a 0-0 in the other game in Group A, and that has them top. Scotland currently remain in third with 2 points in the live table, as Hungary have possession at the back. Look to try and clip it down the right hand side for the run of Bola, watched by McKenna. He gets it off to Robertson, who plays it to Gilmour, and now McGregor up to the halfway line to McTominay, who's been quiet and is dispossessed there with a good sliding challenge. And Hungary looking to finish the first half with a flourish. Chance for Szoboszlai, edge of the box, over the top from 25 yards. He is capable of so much better, but he was leaning back as he took it on, and it's over the top, and so it will be at half time. Scotland 0, Hungary 0.
It's another kind of half chance, poor finish in the end.
There is the half time whistle. Pretty even game, but Hungary with the better of the opportunities. None of them were particularly clear cut, you would have to say, all really from distance. They did clip the bar with the Orban header from a Szoboszlai free kick. That was judged to be offside in any case. There was a Szoboszlai effort just a second or two ago, and beyond that, the only shot I could think of really on target was that of Bendegu's Bola, the right wing back, after 8 minutes strode forward and it tested Angus Gunn, who scooped the ball up back into the penalty area, but there was Andy Robertson just to nod it to him before any Hungarian players could latch on to it. Scotland haven't managed a shot on target again, as they also failed to do against the Germans, but it's still all to play for, still very much in the melting pot. At half time in Stuttgart, it's Scotland 0, Hungary 0.
Scotland versus Hungary. Sports Sound, live from Stuttgart.
And that could be monumental!
Bringing UEFA Euro 2024 home.
Listen on BBC Radio Scotland and Sounds.
Yes, it's certainly very cagey here in Stuttgart. Looking at the match stats, Scotland with 64% possession, no attempts. As for Hungary, they've had 5 attempts, 1 on target. So really, really cagey, edgy here in the stadium. Not a lot of quality, you'd have to say. So much at stake, of course, for both sides here this evening. Willie Miller is back in our Aberdeen studio. What have you made of it, Willie?
One with caution.
Yes.
I think it's a very cautious approach, isn't it? From both sides. You know, Scotland had a lot of the ball the first 30 minutes. It seemed to be that Hungary's tactics was to allow, certainly we're back three, to have the ball and not put them under any pressure. Billy Gilmour perhaps going back and taking it off the back three. Pedestrian, I don't think we play, you know, I don't think when we play that style of football that we really know how to up the tempo in the dangerous areas. And let's face it, we haven't been in a dangerous area, we haven't created, you know, any real openings for ourselves, and I just don't think it suits our game. And I think that Marco Rossi is looking at Scotland and is quite happy, certainly that first 30 minutes was quite happy to allow us to have the possession, in the knowledge that it's not really our game when we try to play it slowly and take too many passes with no real intent. And you know, we've done it in maybe 2 or 3 occasions where we've actually lifted the tempo and played the ball quickly. We're being offered the opportunity to have possession, but the possession is so slow that in no way is it going to trouble Hungary. But if you get that possession, you're allowed that possession, and you up the tempo and you play the slick passing football and get a bit of movement as well, then you know it's possible to create opportunities. I mean, it's Hungary that's had the better chances. There haven't been too many chances. Probably the bowler shot that dipped in front of Angus Gunn that you know, gave him a little bit of a scare. Difficult one to take that, you know, when it's coming off the surface like that. And the rest were all shots, 2 shots from outside the box over the bar, and the Orban header that was offside anyway. It's been a disappointing game, hasn't it? You know, as a spectacle. Yes. I think it's a struggle for the fans to get to get the atmosphere going. You know, listening back here in the studio, it only seems to be when there's a challenge goes in that the fans actually take part in trying to build the atmosphere. And I think from a Scotland point of view, well, you know, the fans haven't much to cheer about at all. Plenty of possession, but it's just kind of an aimless possession. Too many square passes. You know, not quick enough, not enough intent. And certainly, you know, in and around the Hungary box, there's been very little creativity. So disappointing, but you know, as the manager says, win with caution. They're still in it, half-time, 0-0. It's still there to be taken, but you just feel from a Scotland point of view that we're much better when we play the passes quicker. When we're labouring and playing too many square passes, it's not our game, and we don't really know how to play it. And I don't think we know how to up the tempo in the dangerous areas when we get into that lethargic way of playing. So I would like to see us being, you know, a little bit more intent with our passing and try to at least cause the Hungarian defence a problem or two. He's a very lone figure. Shea Adams up top as well. And the 2 supporting players, and McTominay and McGinn, now and again have managed to do something, but not nearly enough to have an impact in the game. So still in it, plenty to play for, but I would like to see, you know, our intent be at a much higher level.
Yeah, Willie summed it up very well there, Leanne, and he's captured the mood inside the stadium. It's certainly the flattest I've experienced in the 3 games. Scotland, they're really struggling to create anything. Perhaps in the second half, when they're shooting towards the goal with the Tartan Army are behind, it'll change. But it's actually been such a disappointing game, hasn't it? Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of kind of tension in the ground. Certainly, I'm feeling it more off the fans. I would need to say, just they're not sure whether to get excited or to still feel positive. Albeit, you know, Hungary they've not dominated the game. It's not like they've thrown everything at us and we're backs to the wall. I think the frustration is that there's a real lack of, as we said in commentary, creativity and options really going forward. I don't think Shea Adams has had a great game. You know, I don't think that the reason he's in the team, he's been able to influence that at all. Most of his work has been his defensive side of the game in Scotland's half. He's not offered the outlet that we need in possession, and by that I mean being a focal point or stretching a back line or forcing a back line to go deeper. It's all been very predictable, very easy to play against. There's no threat in terms of midfielders vacating areas and looking to go beyond. I think our midfield to a point started the game well enough and looking to get on the ball, but as I mentioned again, I thought Gilmour kind of fell out of the game a wee bit, certainly at that midpoint of the half. And if this is a game that you really want to win, Scotland have got to be a bit braver.
This is the point, Leanne. This is a game we have to win.
Yeah.
You've not seen any signs there of a team that actually has to win this game.
No.
And maybe that'll come in the second half. Maybe we'll see substitutions and players who come on that can affect the game better for us. But it has been very laboured. I think there's been a lack of movement off the ball. I think everything being in front of Hungary has really fell into their hands. They're happy to let us have the ball at the back. Hungary aren't the team that Switzerland are or Germany are, and they've had a couple of better opportunities than us, but shots from range and things like that, you're not too worried about. What I'm worried about is, where are we getting our goal from? And right now, I can't see where we're getting our goal from with this current team on the pitch. I've been deflated because the build-up to the game was so brilliant, and the national anthem and stuff, and you're just thinking, right boys, go and grab this. I do feel as though John McGinn, this has been his best game so far. I think he's been good for us. On the other hand, I think McTominay's looked very, very quiet. I can't remember him being on the ball dictating play. I can't remember him being involved in the game too much. We've struggled to get Andy Robertson down the left as much as we want to see him, because we know that's one of our natural threats, one of our only threats at this minute in time. So we need to raise the tempo, And I think, again, too many sideways, backwards passes, too many wee pops into midfield. I know you're trying to do that to move other players around about, but then the movement has to be better in front. And for me, it's been very predictable what we're doing, and very easy for Hungary to sit in their shape and absorb it.
Do you expect then to see an early change from Steve Clarke, or will he just sit tight for, 20-25 minutes and see what pans out?
I think he'll sit tight. I think he's the kind of manager, Steve Clarke, is probably happy where we're at now, because the game's still there to be won. But I just don't think it'll do anything for the atmosphere in this stadium. I don't think it's really given a belief to the players on the pitch that an opening's going to come. Even just looking back to Adams as well, and Tomo, you can probably come in this being a striker, but I just feel at times his movement can be a lot more clever. You know, like at times even just going peel in the opposite side so that the diagonal ball can be hit, or if you go and peel off, it then maybe opens up a bit of a space for a McTominay to go and drive into and go beyond. I just feel that he constantly moves in relation to the ball, but his strength is not taking the ball into his feet. The amount of times the balls went into him or into his chest and it bounces off him and he loses it. He conceded a free kick in the edge of his own box because his touch was poor again. That for me is not Adams' strength. As I say, I think he's a better player out of possession when Scotland have turnovers and they can break quickly and they can look to maybe turn it then in behind, and he carries that threat. I just don't feel like the way Scotland are building the attack there now complements him or Scotland.
The thing is, it's international football at top level, and what we're doing and the pace we're playing our passes at, and how kind of laboured we have been in the build-up. Hungary can just sit. We're not moving them. So as a defensive unit, and Willie will know better than anyone, they're not getting dragged anywhere. They're not getting pulled out of positions. So they can just keep their structure and hope to hit us in the counter. They had a spell of about 10 minutes where they were actually creating quite a few overloads and problems for us. But you've got to move the opposition players and defenders, and our movement quite simply hasn't been good enough. I'd expect maybe a Christie to come on. Yeah. Because we know that he can drive with the ball and his movement is very, very good. Better than the other two probably in that kind of higher position in relation to the striker. I'd just bring Shankland on just now.
100%.
I'd bring him on at half time.
Crying out. It is honestly crying out for a Lawrence Shankland.
I think that's the frustration, Willie. We've spoken about the opportunity here this evening, the chance to make history, and Hungary are a great team. I don't think they're on the same level as Switzerland or Germany. We'll cross that game shortly for an update from Keradine. But the opportunity's there tonight, and so far we're just not at it.
No, we're not. And you know, we've discussed the issues that Scotland have with the tempo and the slow passing, which really it's not in our DNA to play the game that way. I'm struggling. You know, has Steve Clarke asked them to play that way? I wouldn't have thought so. I think, yeah, you want possession in midfield. We've got good players in midfield that can keep the ball, but you know, you've got to try and hurt the opposition. You know, and Stephen's saying, you know, I know what it's like if the ball's in front. You know, as a defender, if the ball's in front of you, of course, you're delighted, you're happy, and the Hungarians are happy with their performance. I mean, the first 30 minutes, they did very little. They just sat back, didn't they? They allowed us to have possession. They allowed us to pass the ball between the three centre-backs. Billy Gilmour was getting the ball, doing nothing with it, invariably going side to side or back the way. So that is easy. That is easy to defend against. And, you know, Hungary are looking like a team that were quite happy to do that for 30 minutes. And then they grew into the game and you know, they started to create opportunities. You know, not great opportunities, but long-range shots, but maybe getting in behind us, but beginning to look a real threat in front of our goal. And we were no threat whatsoever. You're talking about Che Adams trying to run in behind. I haven't seen him trying to do that on one occasion so far. You know, he's getting very little support from McTominay or John McGinn. Yeah, John's been in the game more than what he has been in the first two games, but I think we're judging him on such a low performance that we're now maybe giving him credit for actually doing 2 or 3 good things, when really he's got to be doing more. McTominay's got to be more active as well, or the manager's got to change things. But we know Steve Clarke, and I don't know, you know, I know Leanna Stevens saying you should send Shankland on at half time, and I wouldn't be adverse to that, but do you really think that Steve Clarke's going to do it? It would be a kind of a change in character for him, wouldn't it? I think it would be refreshing to see him doing it, but I'm not too sure if I'm confident that he will do it. It's just been a poor game of football. I just think from both sides, you know, both sides need to win it. It certainly doesn't look that way. I can't see the intent there for either side to actually win this game, so I'm hoping that it's going to be a better game in the second half. Certainly as far as Scotland is concerned, more intent to try and hurt Hungary, because everything's in front of them, and so far they haven't had too much to think about.
No, it's been very poor. The Scotland players just come out, the Hungary players out. Let's get to Frankfurt. 20 seconds, Kerry and the other game in our group. How's it going?
It's a much better game here in Frankfurt. Switzerland won, Germany now. We had some nice football, a goal disallowed. The Swiss nearly doubling their lead, which means we also have something new at this tournament, a frustrated home crowd. As things stand, we also have new leaders in Group A. Switzerland thoroughly enjoying their night here. Dan and Doy expertly turning in Remmel Freuler's cross just before half an hour. Minutes later, and Doy shot near enough took a lick of paint off Manuel Neuer's left-hand post. It was that close to doubling the Swiss advantage. All that after Germany thought they'd gone ahead. Robert Andrich shot bouncing past Jan Sommer when it really shouldn't have. The Inter-keeper's blush is spared by a VAR review. This wasn't in many people's scripts in this city or anyone else in the host country, I'd wager. They're looking for better in the second half. The bigger question is, can Scotland and Stuttgart find a goal that would take them through to the knockouts?
Let's hope so. We're just about to get underway here. The second half, back to Leanne, Tomo and Al.
Thanks, Kenny. Yeah, it's onus on Scotland to come out and at least test Peter Gulacsi in that Hungarian goal. Callum McGregor in the centre circle, preparing to kick us back off. He's one of 6 players in the starting lineup tonight who were also in the starting lineup when they played Croatia 3 years ago in a similar position, having drawn the second game. They knew a victory would take them through, but they were beaten on that occasion, and so far they haven't been able to find the target this evening. Let's see if that will all change. No changes for either side at the break as Callum McGregor does roll us back into action. An interesting start to the second half as he got possession back, but then Billy Gilmour tried the pass forward. It hasn't really happened for him after a terrific performance against Switzerland, but he hasn't been nearly as influential in the game. And Hungary win back possession, but then McKenna steps in. Gilmour gets it to McGregor. McKenna now all the way back to Angus Gunn. Gunn getting his first touch of the second period and then launches it down the right hand side to Anthony Ralston, who has looked a lot more comfortable, it has to be said, this evening, trying to get forward, taking some good touches as well, and really answering some of his critics from earlier in the week, earlier in the competition. As the Tartan Army try and rouse their team with another rendition of A Flower of Scotland. The throw-in's taken down the right-hand side. McTominay chests it on. Ralston had to go for that. The Hungarian player's head was extremely low, and yet Ralston is a player who's been penalised. And it will be a Hungary free kick midway inside their own half, left-hand side, as Kerkez picks himself back up. And Hungary prepare to try and mount another attack. Left-hand side then, this free kick to be taken by Dordoy. Hungary looking to get their first points of the tournament as Hanley gets his head to the ball before Soboslai. It's out to the right-hand side though as Bola slides it down the line. McKenna watches that, challenged by Schaefer. It came back off McKenna according to the assistant, who was in close proximity, and it will be a Hungary throw-in down near the corner flag on the right-hand side as forward comes Botka to take this throw-in. Looks like he might try for a long throw here as he winds one up, takes a few yards back towards the advertising hoardings, although he's got a short option there as Willie Orban makes his way to him. Chooses against that, and it does come to the penalty area. Bounces off the back of Soboslai. Claims there from the fans behind the goal of, I think, presumably a handball. The referee has asked for a momentary pause, but then quickly waves Botka on so that he can try once more this long throw from the right-hand side, but 25 yards from the corner flag this time, and it comes again to the penalty area. It's Scotland head that wins it. Grant Hanley, I think, sending it behind for a Hungary corner. 0-0.
decent start to the second half from Hungary, putting us under sustained pressure here, and an early opportunity to work a corner. Szoboszlai over it.
Szoboszlai, right hand side, the Hungary captain, looking to pick out a teammate. He's outswinger from the right hand side, away by Hanley, out for a throw in this near side, midway inside the Scotland half this time, as Szoboszlai thinks about taking it quickly, but then thinks better of it, and Hungary will wave back. Bola is just going to leave that also for Botka once again to try and launch this one in towards the Scots penalty. 0-0 with 3 minutes gone in the second period. He goes back the way instead to Orban, just inside his own half and square now for Dordoy. Dordoy arrows it back out. There's a good ball for Bola, right hand side, about 25 yards from the Scots goal, and just clips it in towards Szoboszlai, who helps it on into a dangerous area. Shot comes in from Szoboszlai, but it's a tame one, a trundler really into the chest there of Angus Gunn from about 15 yards. No harm done, but a good start, as Stephen was saying, Leanne, to the start of the second half.
Yeah, no harm done, absolutely. Really positive from Hungary, and a bit concerning probably if you're looking at it from a Scotland perspective. It's another shot on target. I mean, I know it's very weak and very tame, but Scotland haven't offered them any of that all night, and Hungary now have had a couple of options. They'll take a lot of confidence from it. They've certainly started the second half much better.
Throw in Scotland's way though this time. Andy Robertson to take midway inside the Hungary half, as Scotland look to try and make some impact in an attacking sense in the game. Adams and McTominay offering themselves, but Robertson still deliberating over what to do. It's won by the head there of Bola. Gets it clear as far as McGregor. McGregor picks up the man who scored in that final game against Croatia, equaliser, but turned into a 3-1 defeat. Here's McTominay, edge of the box, doesn't quite able to keep control, and then Gilmour's penalised for his challenge, and McTominay's shown a yellow card, and if Scotland progress, he would miss the last 16 game. I'm not sure what he's been penalised for. Maybe that second challenge there.
Absolutely
nothing in that.
Nonsense.
Nothing,
never a yellow card in its life, honestly. He tips the toe.
He doesn't even like raise his studs.
No. It was basically just the slightest bit of contact.
That is so poor from an officiating perspective, because the fact like that McTominay misses out for something, he's done nothing. There's no malice, there's no intent, there's no force, barely any contact.
And Scott McTominay's just got to go and leave it all out there tonight then, as he would miss any last 16 encounters should Scotland progress now. The first player to be booked a second time in the Scotland games thus far. Here he is in possession, dragged to the ground there by Kerkez, as the game just stretched to get a little bit towsy, but maybe we could do with that, because
it's something to ignite.
It's been a bit lacklustre, isn't it?
It has been. It's not been a great game to watch. I really enjoyed the Switzerland game the other night. There's a lot of action. We've been really starved of any kind of real goal-mouth action, certainly from a Scotland point of view.
McKenna plays it to McGregor, short inside his own half. Now Gilmour, 20 yards in Scotland territory. Hanley now forward to McTominay. First time ball out to the right hand side from McGinn. Not a great first touch, but he keeps possession well in the centre circle. Back to Hanley. Hanley now crossing the halfway line out to the left hand side. Sails Robertson rather short there, and Bola not quite able to keep the ball in play. It'll be a Scotland throw about 10 yards into the Hungary half, which Robertson is going to try and take quickly, but the referee, not only is he going to tell him to go back a few yards, but also he's going to have a word with the Scotland captain and potentially the manager there as well, down at the edge of his technical area. Robertson eventually takes the throw in into Gilmour. Nice touch from him. Still it's Gilmour coming down the left hand side. Here McTominay combining well. The cross though is cut out and cleared away over the halfway line. Down goes Varga up against McKenna, but absolutely nothing wrong with the challenge from McKenna. Just stood his ground, and the referee rightly allows play to continue. We've played 7 minutes of this second period, and it's still 0-0 between Scotland and Hungary in a game Scotland realistically have to win.
I don't see any change from the first half, whatever's been said in the second. There's certainly, we're only 7 minutes in, but there's not been a lot of difference.
Good chest control by Adams, who now plays the ball out to the left hand side. for Robertson. Just takes a poor bit of control, and he's lost it now to his Liverpool teammate Szoboszlai. Makes a good challenge to win it back though. Good play from Robertson, who now finds Adams, left hand side, advancing towards the Hungarian penalty area. And he comes, goes for goal, but it's over the top from Shea Adams. He had a couple of options in the penalty area, but he goes for goal. Not on target, but at least it's an effort approaching the Hungary goal.
Yeah, it's an effort. Look, you can't blame him for taking the shot on. Credit to Andy Robertson, because he lost the ball initially, but he worked so hard to get back in, wins it back, releases Adams. He then goes in the overlap, and Adams, just as he comes in the pitch, goes on sight.
Yeah, his head down, he was hitting it as soon as he received it, he was hitting it. Whereas actually the wee reverse pass to Robertson, who'd overlapped, was the ball.
So still goalless after 53.5 minutes as down goes Adams, but nothing given against Schaefer, who is the Hungarian player who wins possession. Out to the left-hand side for Kerkez, and now back with Dordoy, midway inside his own half, plays it long down that left-hand side. And the offside flag is up. The Argentinian officials spotting that one. But, the referee, Facundo Terrio, once showed 10 red cards in a single game in his domestic game. Hendry plays it forward. McTominay can't make anything of it, all the way through to Peter Galacci, and will remain Scotland 0, Hungary 0. We're still waiting for that spark of life, certainly from Scotland. Out to the right hand side it comes for Bola, forward for Szoboszlai. He's given it away though, McTominay, and then McKenna picking up. McKenna's just run it out of play though on the left hand side. It'll be a Hungary throw in, midway inside their own half, right hand side, as Szoboszlai and Bola decide who's going to take it. Will be the wing back. He plays for Servette in Switzerland. Forward it comes from Hungary, well won by Hendry. Gilmour can't latch onto it though before Styles, and Hungary have it in the middle of the park. Schaefer just nudging it to the right hand side. Szoboszlai chased by Robertson. It's a good duel. Robertson only succeeds in knocking it to Schaefer, and now it's Szoboszlai once more. Styles almost presenting that straight to McTominay, who couldn't quite latch onto it. Hungary going back the way, chased down by Adams. And we'll just listen to the roar from the Tartan Army, because Shea Adams was actually just closing down and managed to knock the ball out of play. They just want something to ignite them here.
That's brilliant from Adams.
But Hungary have won possession in a good area, and they're actually 4-on-4 here as Szoboszlai brings it forward, tries to find the pass. It's away from Ralston, out to the left-hand side. An opportunity here, closed down by Hendry, and behind for a corner. Hungary will claim for a handball in that block, but it looks like it will just be a corner. But again, Hungary showing in the transition they can be dangerous.
Yeah, it was a counter-attack from Hungary. It was actually a poor pass from Szoboszlai out to the left-hand side, and Anthony Ralston quite fortunate, because he doesn't defend the situation well at all. And then the shot was blocked, thankfully for us, just leads to a corner.
It did come off the arm of Jack Hendry, but
yeah,
it was pinned to his side. Absolutely no chance that would be penalised. And it will be a corner then on the left-hand side for Hungary as they look for the opening goal in this game. The referee again doesn't like what he's seeing in the 6-yard box, pushing and pulling from a variety of players before Szoboszlai is able to curl this one in near post. A good ball, it's won by McTominay at the near post, returned into the 6-yard box, but Angus Gunn sees it behind. And after 56.5 minutes here in the Stuttgart Arena, it's still Scotland 0, Hungary 0.
And it's a game that it's just so hard to predict the way it's going to go just now, because both sides, at points when they go at it, they do carry a threat. But I just think Scotland, they've got to change something. And I said that in the first half, we're a much better side without the ball, when we can go and get after it. And I actually think it's more successful when we play direct. A couple of times we've just sent a couple of searching balls, long balls, 50-60 yards. Now we might not get the first contact, but in the point that Hungary have won it back and they look to try and play, they're not as good as a German, they're not as good as Switzerland. So that's them, and Scotland can jump on it and they can go and win it. But I still feel that we can go and roll the dice even at this point in the game.
Here's Gilmour, about 10 yards into the Hungary half, plays it short to McGinn, in turn finds McGregor, square along the half line more or less to McKenna, and now Robertson into Gilmour. Gilmour goes back the way to McKenna. Swifter passing there though from Scotland, as McGregor is slightly astray with his pass to Hanley, about 15 yards inside his own half. Short ball again to McGregor. McGregor plays it into Gilmour. Gilmour spinning away from Styles, plays it forward to McGinn, who gets on the half turn against Schaefer, out to the right hand side. Still it's John McGinn trying to beat his man. He's done that. It's away from Kerkez as well. John McGinn powering into the penalty area, right hand side, trying to pick out McTominay, and it's cut out in there. But listen to the Tartan Army now after a powerful run down that right hand side by John McGinn.
It's absolutely brilliant play from John, so aggressive, really snapping into challenges. He gets a wee break of the ball, but his next touch past the defender was brilliant. Just to cut back at that point, he really struggled to pick somebody out, but you can hear the crowd absolutely getting a massive lift from that. One wee bit of positivity.
Throw in taken by Ralston into Gilmour. Gilmour tries to get the cross in, it breaks back to Ralston, who manages to get it to Hendry. Hendry goes down, claiming there was a high boot there. It was very similar to one that was given against Scotland in the first half, but this time the referee allows play to continue. High in the air from the Hungarian defender, but it's nicked on to the halfway line for Shawloy, and then Styles will just clip it for Hanley. And Gunn have got to be careful here. It should come through to Gunn outside his penalty area, and he just lofts it forward, helped on by Ralston. Hungary though will try and come against Szoboszlai. There's an offside flag there. It's going to halt Hungary's progress, and it'll be a free kick to Scotland midway inside their own half, as Hungary look like they're about to make a change here down below us. First change of the game, and it will be Adam Noj, who started the previous two games. Well, he'll come on for either Styles or Schaefer, you'd imagine, in the centre of the park. Both of them on a yellow card already. So
you just wonder when we're going to make our substitutions. We're now at the hour mark. It's 0-0. I'd kind of thought that if this was the case, Leanne, that we'd start to see some positive substitutions coming on.
Hanley clips it down the channel for Adams to chase. It's headed away, but only as far as McTominay. McTominay trying to keep it alive. Schaefer slides in and gets it clear for Hungary, but it's picked up by Gilmour. Gilmour gets it back from McGregor. Now forward for John McGinn, looking to get turned again away from Dordoy this time. Out to Ralston. Early ball in, it's too close to Galacci, who clutches it inside his 6-yard box. And so on the hour mark, it will remain Scotland 0, Hungary 0.
That's not the worst ball by Anthony Ralston's good play. John McGinn finds him out that right hand side. He maybe just needed to take an extra touch just to allow Adams to get across the front area.
Down the left hand side, Hungary come. It's Hendry who's there, just plays it back to Gunn, who goes first time right footed down that right hand side. McGinn will go and contest it, but he loses out, and then Schaefer wins the header, but straight out of play, and that will allow Hungary to make their change, as the fourth official shows us that it will be Callum Styles of Barnsley who will be replaced by the man who he replaced in the starting lineup, Adam Noj of Spezia in Italy. And Hungary, the first team to roll the dice with effectively a straight swap in the middle of the park. You both spoke about Shankland as being one of the players you would like to see come on. Ryan Christie has got to be another one that's in the thinking of Steve Clarke if he wants to try and change the way the game's shaped up.
Aye, there's a couple of players. I wouldn't even object to Shankland coming on to partner Adams up top, and as I say, have that more direct approach, get the ball forward a lot quicker, better chance that the ball can stick, and then you can bring your midfielders into the game underneath it. I would possibly even look at sacrificing a Callum McGregor, because I don't think he's had much influence in the game, and it would allow you just to keep that extra striker on the pitch. But no, you're right, Al. There's Christie there, Forrest there as well, the likes of Armstrong.
Yeah, who we've not seen in the tournament thus far. And Callum McGregor picks up just inside his own half, plays it forward for McTominay. He's quickly challenged from the back and he's lost out, but breaks kindly for Andy Robertson. Gets it back to McKenna. McKenna on the ball once more, finding Gilmour. Gilmour in the middle of the park, slides it forward for Adams. He gets turned in the centre circle, looks to play it out to the right hand side now for Hendry, who's able to advance, comes infield and then plays it short to Gilmour. Gilmour midway inside the Hungary half, forward now for McGinn, right hand side of the penalty area, looking for the run there of Ralston, and then he turns back the way to Hendry. Hendry for Gilmour, and McGinn once more. He was challenged fairly, says the referee. The ball's out of play for a Scotland throw, and quickly taken by Hendry. Scotland just looking to up the tempo slightly, it appears. Hanley now for McKenna, left hand side on the halfway line. That's a good ball for Adams. Can he get in behind here? Poked behind by Willie Orban, and then the offside flag goes up against Shea Adams, and it will be a free kick rather than a corner kick and it will remain Scotland 0, Hungary 0.
It was just done with so much more speed. Finally some movement from Adams running the channel, and it was a very good first time quick pass from McKenna into his feet.
I just think we actually need more of that. We spoke about that in the first half, Tom, and that's the exact run that you're looking for Adams to go and do. And I think if you do it, you know, every other time, at least you keep the defence on their toes as well. They don't know whether to stick or twist.
Szoboszlai gets it to Noj in the middle of the park, out to the left-hand side now for Kerkez, who's got good delivery, but this one comes off the head of Anthony Ralston, who felt that one again. That's the second time he's taken a sore one, this time on the forehead, and he'll just need a moment to regain his composure here before having to defend the corner kick out on that left-hand side, as Hungary look to get the opening goal in the game, and it could be a goal that takes them into the last 16. 3 points may or may not be enough, but well, 0 certainly won't be, and they need to go for a win here. Corner kick then from Szoboszlai, fires this one from left right to the back post. It's picked up on the right-hand side by Bola. Bola in on the head of Dordoy, who heads over from about 8 yards out. Wasn't a bad ball in from Bola. Dordoy perhaps will feel he should have got that one on target. 0-0.
Yeah, they should. Sorry, Tom. They should have done better, because it's straight off the training ground. You could see the ball deep to the back area. There's a block just centrally as well, which just allows the ball to travel. Scotland not switched on it at all, and the connection's a poor one.
As he heads it onto his shoulder, yeah, he does. I mean, you're right, Leanne, that was a decent opportunity for them.
Scotland take the goal kick short and look to play out, and it's out to the right-hand side for Hendry. Hendry finds a good ball for McGinn in that right channel, but he's having to go back the way, and he's lost it to Schaefer, and this could be dangerous here as Szoboszlai picks up into the penalty area, cuts it back for Szoboszlai, edge of the box, brilliantly closed down by Robertson, who's then fouled, I think, by Schaefer, but gets the ball on to Gilmour as Scotland try and bring it forward. Gilmour for Adams, back to McGregor, edge of his own box, back to Angus Gunn, who just side foots it forward over the halfway line, looking for McTominay. McTominay finds a pass back for Ralston, who steps away from his man and plays it to Gilmour, short, and then it's Hendry now, about 10 yards inside his own half. McGregor, square for McKenna. McKenna back to Hanley, who's deepest of Scotland's outfield players. He plays it short to McGregor, still 20 yards inside his own half. It's a good ball for Ralston, and his pass first time for McTominay is a good one. McTominay strides forward to the edge of the box, but he's easily dispossessed by Orban, and now Hungary will come forward as the game just becomes a little bit stretched.
Yeah, it's opening up, Al, for sure. Both teams know what's at stake. There's 25 minutes left.
And it's Schaefer picking up in a good area, coming forward up towards the edge of the Scotland penalty area. Just plays it square now for Szoboszlai as Scotland get bodies behind the ball. Schaefer picks up once more and then invites Bola forwards. Ball out on the right-hand side, tries to fling one into the penalty area. It comes off the backside of Andy Robertson and out for a throw-in about 25 yards from the corner flag on the right-hand side as Hungary attack. Still no immediate sign that Scotland are going to make a change. There are a few subs out there going through their paces, but none getting stripped as such, as Botka prepares to try and launch potentially another long throw in here from the right-hand side. Szoboszlai comes and offers himself short, as does Orban, and that's where the ball goes, and he plays it square now for Dordoy. Dordoy in a central area. It's a poor ball forward, and it's out for a Scotland throw-in, and Marco Rossi, the Italian head coach, has been in his post 6 years, and recently he was given Hungarian citizenship, such as his service been, but his side can't find a goal as yet.
You can just hear the tartan army there just gave a ripple of applause. I think Lauren Shanklin was just giving the nod just to come in and get ready. Everybody in this stadium's crying out for just not even necessarily Lauren Shanklin.
Szoboszlai in a dangerous area, but out comes Angus Gunn. He gets a good fist out and knocks it out of play, and the referee just wants the throw in taken again. But Angus Gunn alert there as Szoboszlai look to cause some problems with the Scotland backline. It's Szoboszlai cutting in from the right-hand side, plays it square. Opportunity here for Szoboszlai potentially as well. And he's just dragged to the ground. It's a rash challenge in there, an unnecessary one, you feel, from Grant Hanley, and they'll have another free kick about 30 yards from goal, left of centre.
It's a challenge he doesn't need to make. Yeah. He's taking his touch away from goal. Why get so tight?
That's really silly, really naive as well, because Anthony Ralston, he was covering him behind as well. It wasn't like there was an overload in that side. This just gives Hungary an opportunity to create something before Scotland can make the changes.
Soboslai clips it into the penalty area. Out comes Gunn. He's missed it, but it's headed away by a Scotland head. And the referee's calling on the Scotland physios there as Gunn is clattered, and there's a Hungarian player down there as well as another Scotland defender. And Jane Lewis, who I haven't heard from during the match, but she's down with a good view of what happened there, Jane.
Yeah, Angus Gunn, when he came out to punch that effort away, I think he kind of collided and almost kind of caught Anthony Ralston on the head as well. And Anthony Ralston is on the floor, so too Angus Gunn. Ralston looks in a good bit of pain, actually. He's obviously receiving some treatment. And as you've mentioned before, Al, he's had a couple of head knocks already in this one, but there's blankets being brought on. There's an incident with can't quite see who that is. So there's an incident, really nasty incident with a Hungarian player. The blanket, 2 blankets have been draped around him as he is retrieving medical attention. I can't see who it is at all. He's on the floor. I didn't see what happened with that because I was too busy looking at the Ralston and the Angus Gunn collision, but this looks really serious. The blankets are around to protect the player. The medics are underneath those blankets, giving that player some serious attention. We'll just have to watch this one, Al, but this does not look good at all.
No, this is awful.
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible, Al, to see this.
I mean, they came on so quickly. There must have been real concern for...
Well, they put him into the recovery position instantly. The 2 players that were beside him on the pitch, and then immediately they were signalling over to the doctors and things to get over and get on the pitch. It's awful to watch.
The Hungarian players they're desperate for the medics to get in there and get the treatment. We cannot begin to imagine what is going through the minds of the players down there.
We're not going to see a replay of it, so we'll not know who it is. We don't want to see it, but I mean, we're not, so we can't see which player it is, but really hope that this situation improves.
Yeah, it looks, it's horrible to see, really horrible, and I think everybody around it acted pretty quickly once they realised the severity of it all. And the Hungarian players are right. I mean, some of the medical staff that were coming onto the pitch there were kind of, it's like a light jog on with the stretching, and they're looking for a bit of urgency in terms of...
Well, we are seeing a replay there, but it's still unclear as to who it is, and it's really unclear as to actually what happened. I'm almost loath to mention this because it's so almost irrelevant in the circumstances, but there is a potential penalty check going on. But I mean, frankly, who cares? It's of minimal importance. We can only hope that the Hungarian player who's being treated, surrounded by big brown blankets so that people can't really see what is going on. Marco Rossi pacing the touchline with real concern. And it just brings back memories, obviously, of the last Euros and Christian Eriksen. And thankfully that turned out well. And we can only hope this is similar, because it is just the worst thing you can ever see at a football ground when there is such serious concern.
Anthony Ralston, he was involved in it as well, Al. He's received a bit of treatment, certainly just looking at his body language as well as he's walking back. Just sickening for any player to be on the pitch when these types of things are going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is as tough as it gets to talk about, and I mean, because I don't even want to talk about like how the game's going and what we need to do, because
it's all about just making sure that this player receives the medical treatment he needs, and hoping and praying that he's okay, Alistair.
Yeah, well, treatment goes on. Scotland players and Hungary players all remain milling around the penalty area. Okay. Willie, I know you're back watching this in the Aberdeen studio. I mean, It's horrendous, isn't it?
No, it is. It's just a horrible situation. It's not particularly clear just exactly what happened, though, Al, but we know that it's something serious just by the fact how long it's taken for the medical people to get on there and look at whichever Hungary player it is that's down there. It doesn't matter how long it takes. The most important thing this moment in time is the treatment that he gets, and making sure that treatment is of a high standard. And they're obviously very concerned. They're very concerned. Both sets of players are very concerned. Actually, all huddled round, the incident. But I can't really, it hasn't shown you replay. I think we get one quick replay, but nothing that stood out. So I think we're all a little bit in the dark, but we would have to say just take as long as you can, and hopefully whoever it is that's getting the treatment, as well at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, he's just been stretchered off the field of play, and assuming that the game, it looks like it's going to resume. Hungary haven't yet made a change. The penalty check is over.
I don't know how you're meant to play on if, as a Hungarian player here, knowing that your teammate, or even for the Scotland players that have seen it.
You can only hope, Tom, with the fact that he's left the pitch quite efficiently, I would need to say, in terms of the medical treatment that's been received, and that he's on the stretcher, that you would hope that he's been stabilised in whatever shape that looks like. But no, it's really tough.
So a couple of changes for Hungary here. Attila Soloy is going to come on at the back for Dordoy. I think we can now say that it was Barnabas Varga who is the stricken player. He's been replaced by Martin Adam up front. Play, I think, is going to resume with a Scotland drop ball. And Stuart Armstrong and Lawrence Shankland are preparing to come on, but I mean, well, the Hungary fans, I think, are booing because Scotland have taken the drop ball and played on. But I mean, I don't know what else they're supposed to do. But it's the most awkward and awful circumstances to try and describe 15 minutes that are left of a game of football when what looks like a man's life is in jeopardy. But we'll do our best in these closing stages. But frankly, it just brings everything into perspective about who qualifies and who wins and such like. But here goes Adam for Hungary. Is it back the way to Kerkez now on the edge of the penalty area? Kerkez into the box. Adam looked like it came off his arm. It's back to Soboslai. Soboslai inside the penalty area, dancing feet. Soboslai dances in and then clips the ball into the middle, and then it was a shove, and it will be a Scotland free kick inside their own 6-yard box. But it looks like Hungary, if anything, they're trying to take the game to Hungary and win this one for Barnabas Varga.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You speak about something that you need in the game, whether it's a challenge at times or a change or whatever it is, but this has certainly sparked Hungary into life. They're feeling that this adversity that they've been faced within this game is a reason to respond. You don't often see that. John McGinn coming off for Scotland as well, the couple of changes.
Yeah, he's been replaced by Stuart Armstrong, and it's Lawrence Shankland on for Shea Adams. We've got, I think, about 15 minutes to the 90 left, but we're going to have a long period of additional time because of the stoppage there just a few moments ago. So still 0-0. There's 76 on the clock. Scotland make their first couple of changes of the game. Stuart Armstrong enters the fray in the Euros for the first time, and Lawrence Shankland gets his first meaningful minutes on the pitch as Soboslai tries to get past McKenna. He can't do so, and it's picked up by Robertson. Robertson infield now to Gilmour. Gilmour brings the ball forward into the Hungarian half, out to the right-hand side for McTominay. McTominay tries to pick him out again. It was a good interception, and behind for a Scotland corner. Almost found its way to Gilmour again.
That's better. Good play from Scotland. Good support play as well. Anthony Ralston, he goes in the decoy as well. He gets round outside, which just takes the defender with him, just opens up that little bit of space. Hungary have defended it well, right enough, but will take the corner.
The corner to be taken then right-hand side by Scott McTominay. What can Scotland make of this? Can they force Galachi into his first meaningful save of the game? Player goes down at in the penalty area for Hungary. It's a poor delivery again from McTominay. And then Gilmour's made a bit of a hash of an attempted pass, and Hungary will come forward on the counter. It's a poor pass from them as well, and unable to collect quite comfortably. But McTominay is the latest Scotland player to deliver poorly from a set piece. I haven't made really anything of these set pieces. Leanne, you've been talking about that in the past as well.
Yeah, really disappointing. I mean, he's tried to be creative there in terms of the low delivery, whether that's something that they've worked on or something that he just instinctively thought was on. But we've wasted far too many opportunities over the course of the last 2 games.
Hanley finds Ralston and now McGregor, and back to Jack Hendry midway inside his own half. 78 minutes played here in the Stuttgart Arena. Scotland 0, Hungary 0 in the final group match of Scotland's Group A campaign. As Armstrong could be in here. Oh,
it's got to be a pen. It's got to be a pen.
Oh, he's waving no. The referee is waving no. It looked for all the world like Armstrong was being dragged to the ground there. He's still claiming, and the Scotland fans behind that goal cannot believe it. Well, of course, VAR will be checking that, but initially the Argentinian referee says Stuart Armstrong was not fouled.
I'm telling you now, it looks like a stonewall penalty. My only concern is offside, marginal.
I thought he looked a wee bit off.
Yeah, we'll get a look at it again, hopefully.
How was the ref waved that away?
Incredible.
The ball breaks for Hungary in the middle of the park as they try to mount an attack of their own, and it's Soboslai, right hand side, up against Armstrong, who's just on the park and almost found himself in on goal there before he seemed to be hauled down. The VAR is from Spain, Alejandro Hernandez. He'll be having a close look at that as play continues in the Scotland half for the moment. It's Soboslai about 10 yards in. Here's Armstrong now, trying to weave his way forward. Was he fouled there? Well, the assistant was having a close look at that and says it's a Scotland throw-in rather than... Well, here's a replay now. So it comes off the heels of Orban. Armstrong steps across Orban.
Oh, it's a penalty all day long for me. Right down the back of his calf. Armstrong does really well because he protects the ball.
Does Armstrong grab a bit of his shirt? That's the only thing I would say.
Play's continuing. It's not going to be a penalty after the review or not. And still we await the opening goal.
I tell you what though, it's brilliant movement from Armstrong. It's what's been crying out in this game. Yep. And it just shows you the chaos that it creates.
Well, Armstrong with what looked like Scotland's best opportunity, wasn't able to get the shot off though. Willie Orban with a last-ditch challenge, which we all felt initially looked like a penalty, but the referee had other thoughts. As now Hungary come forward. It looked like Adam was backing into Hendry there, but the referee says no, it'll be a throw into Hungary far side.
He's a big old unit as Adam.
80 on the clock, 0-0 as Schaefer comes forward. Left hand side now it's Kerkez. Kerkez swings it into the box. Robertson goes and meets it and gets it up towards Shanklin, who looks to try and link with McTominay but can't do so, and it's Kerkez once more, pokes it forward. Solai now with the opportunity. Good challenge by Callum McGregor in there. Still it's Hungary though in possession as Orban gets out to the left hand side, clipped in. Angus Gunn comes off his line and collects that on the edge of his 6-yard box and bowls it out to Robertson. 10 minutes to play. Scotland need a winner.
It's becoming a wee bit end-to-end, isn't it? You feel as though something could be coming
a fair bit of urgency. Yeah, I think just the changes as well, both sides making a couple of substitutions, injected a fresh bit of energy. The crowd as well a lot more lively.
Hungary have it though, left hand side, just inside their own half. And Steve Clark looked to make another couple of changes as Ryan Christie and Kenny McLean, I think it is, standing, getting some last instructions from Austin McPhee. As Gulacsi launches it long, but it'll be McKenna to win the header down the left hand side. Armstrong won't get there ahead of Bola, who gets it back there from his central defender Orban. Hanley's beaten to it, so too is Robertson. It breaks off McGregor back to Angus Gunn as Robertson and Adam pick themselves up off the ground, and it's still anyone's game. A victory almost certainly would be enough to send Scotland into the last 16. It might be enough to send Hungary through. Still 1-0 Switzerland against Germany, remember. That would put them through as group winners. 7 points to Germany, 6 as things stand, as Gilmore has it about 30 yards from goal, looks to slide it forward. Shankman looks offside, he'll cut it across goal. Gulacsi goes down, McTominay's in there, but it is offside as is suspected. There will be a free kick to Hungary inside their own penalty area. 82 on the clock. Scotland 0, Hungary 0.
Again though, it's decent movement from Lawrence, playing on the shoulder, makes a wee... He's not offside.
He's onside.
He's not offside. Makes a wee curved run.
which is incredible though, because actually the officials tonight, they've been really quick with offsides. There's not been many that they've allowed to kind of play through and wait for a VAR intervention, basically.
I mean, if it had ended up in the back of the net, it would have gone to VAR and he probably would have been deemed to be onside. Billy Gilmour coming off for Christie.
Yes, he is. And it's going to be Tony Ralston who's replaced by Kenny McLean. Is this the switch to the back four, or how are they going to work
Possibly,
this one?
yeah, it looks like Henry's slid across
go right
to
back,
right back. Yeah, well, I like it though, because there's still a decent amount of time left. Once we get the injury time, of course, it will go up.
Yeah, there's going to be, what, close to 10 minutes, you might
you would think so.
in terms of stoppage time. Well, that would give us 17 in total. There's 83 on the clock just at the moment. 0-0 it stands here in Stuttgart. You listen to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland and on BBC Sounds. Remember, the Daily Football podcast, as well as our match coverage and all the chat as McTominay gives chase to a through ball, but Galacci comes off his line and catches that before McTominay can get on the end of it, looking to scored his 9th goal in his last 11 competitive internationals. He scored just one fewer than the rest of the team put together in his last 10. As Szoboszlai picks up possession, right-hand side. Now it's Bola back to Szoboszlai. Still right-hand side for Hungary. About 20 yards from goal. Bola lifts it into the penalty. A Gunn thought of it coming. Hendry gets his head to it. It goes high up in the air, and then Gunn clutches it, and he quickly gets it out to Armstrong. Armstrong now for Christie. His first touch of the ball is into his former Celtic teammate Callum McGregor, and then out to the right-hand side is Kenny McLean coming in off the right, up to the halfway line, into Christie once more, centre circle, looks ahead of him. Shankland makes a move. Still it's Christie though. He runs into trouble though in the shape of Bola, and Scotland will have to get bodies back now. Counter-attacks led by Szoboszlai. Lifts it out to the left-hand side for Kerkez. Kerkez out to the left even further for Solai. Solai up to the angle of the box on the left-hand side. Back goes Armstrong with him. Solai in the right foot. Tries to stand up to the back post. Robertson's there. Gets the header clear. Will be picked up by Bola. More or less on the goal line. He's got time and space to send it back in. Hanley goes down. He was clattered there as he got the header clear. And it will be a Scotland free kick on the penalty spots as Orban caught Hanley. And the free kick goes Scotland's way. 85 played. Scotland 0, Hungary 0.
I like the change in the shape, but I don't like Henry at right back, because I've watched him since it's happened and he does not look like he's got much left in the tank. And actually, as that ball went out to the left-hand channel, his immediate reaction was to retreat back to inside the box, and he allowed Stuart Armstrong to be the player that tracked into that full-back area. Now, at this stage of the game, you cannot reserve energy. You cannot ask somebody else to do your job for you and allow that ball to come inside the box. So I don't know if Steve Clarke's going to... He's got to look at that. You cannot go to a more attacking shape, but then leave people, you know, in 1v1 situations, Tomo, especially in wide areas, because Hungary, in terms of Adam that's come on, he's an absolute handful, as you say. He's pinning the ball and he's got bodies running off him down the outside.
Well, they put in two very dangerous crosses there, and you're right to point out Adam in the middle of the 6-yard box, but we actually defended both situations quite well once the ball had been coming in, but we don't want to be giving them
for 15 minutes
giving them a few more of those, that's for sure. Hanley's just getting a bit of treatment in his head. It was a head knock that led to the free kick.
A couple of changes there for Hungary. Kerkez and Bola have gone off, the two wing-backs, and on come Kevin Shobot. He plays for Újpest in his homeland, and Zsoltnoz likewise plays for the Puskás Academy in Hungary. Grant Hanley, as Tomo says, just getting treatment for that head knock as the Scotland fans once again break into the national anthem. They have 3 and a bit minutes plus stoppage time to find a winner that would allow these Scotland fans to prolong their time in Germany and see their team in the knockout stage of a major tournament for the very first time. And a draw, yes, it might be enough, but Steve Clarke said before it won't be. He certainly didn't want to play for that, but hasn't exactly been all-out attack, that's for sure, as the ball's knocked forward as far as Armstrong. Left-hand side, tries to sneak it through for Shankland. Shankland battles away, but it breaks away from Armstrong, and then Hanley, who's back on the field of play, will just knock it all the way back to Angus Gunn, just at the edge of his penalty area. It goes long over the halfway line, looking for McTominay. Can't make much of it though, and it's Schaefer finding Szoboszlai. Back with Schaefer, who'll feed it forward, and that's one for Chauvelot, the substitute, to chase, but even with the fresh legs, he won't catch that one, and it's out for Scotland goal kick with 87, almost 88 played, and there's going to be a final Scotland change here, and it's Lewis Morgan who's going to come on for Andy Robertson.
Yeah, I think that's an injury.
Yeah.
Now, he made that kind of last run there as well, and almost a grimace in his face, obviously feeling something.
So we'll now get Kenny McLean playing left back.
Yeah, Jack Hendry
playing right back.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lewis, I'm pleased to see him getting on the pitch. He's a player with real pace, so hopefully we can get him in behind. He's going to go right up the top of the pitch, it looks like, with Lawrence Shankland.
Well, it's a must-win game. Win with caution, Steve Clark said. Good play from Shankland. It's still in play, and then a sliding challenge comes in and stops him in his tracks. He looked like he'd done the hard work there, but and then the foul is committed by Scott McKenna, and it will be a throw-in, a free kick to Hungary midway inside their own half. As Shankland doing good work initially, but couldn't quite get beyond the final man. And now Hungary will come forward down the left-hand side, almost into the final minute of the 90. It's teased into the Scotland box, but behind all the Hungary players. And Angus Gunn picks up and quickly finds Kenny McLean into the middle of the park for McTominay. Tries to get the ball out his feet and then eventually just rolls it back to Angus Gunn. Gunn, 10 yards off his line, just launches it long up towards Shankland, whose jersey's been...
Oh, he's giving a foul against us. What's going on here? Nonsense from the referee.
Yeah, certainly seemed to be. Well, the big talking point is going to be that penalty shout, isn't it, against Stuart Armstrong, or on Stuart Armstrong.
Yeah.
Here though is Schaefer coming forward into the Scotland penalty. He gets the shot off, and Angus Gunn has to turn it behind. That was going to sneak into his left-hand post, and he had to get down and push it away. And again, Hungary are the ones who are creating the good opportunities.
We just let him run with the ball. Nobody wants to go and engage.
Enough.
Fourth official down there is about to tell us after this corner, I think, how much is going to be added on as Szoboszlai plays it in from the right-hand side. It comes to Schaefer at the edge of the box, but he splashed that wide, and it will be 10 minutes exactly added on, and we are stepping into that right now. 10 minutes for Scotland to find the goal that would take them into the last 16, because it's still very finely poised. That's Scotland 0, Hungary 0.
You can hear the crowd. They know what's at stake, both sets of fans. What 10 minutes this is going to be.
Lewis Morgan gives chase up against Orban. Back to Galacci, the goalkeeper. He lashes it over the halfway line long. Adam flicks it on for Soloy. Good challenge. It's a vital challenge from Hanley as Soboth made tracks down the left-hand side, but the pass didn't get there, but it does come through to Adam. Adam now for Szoboszlai. Inside the penalty, it goes for goal. Good save, Adam. Szoboszlai almost in on the rebound, but Scotland hack it clear. Nervy moments in that back line. And Angus Gunn again has to step up to the plate as Hungary are awarded another free kick.
We're on the ropes a bit. I mean, the shape change and the additional forward players. Hold on out.
Szoboszlai into the penalty. The header comes in just wide. The offside flag goes up in any event. But it's really...
We're on the ropes a bit. We're on the ropes a bit.
It's like a heavyweight boxing match, the 12th round, isn't it? The shape change now, I don't think it's helped us, because we've had to make a couple of changes. Certainly sacrificing Robertson.
We look very open.
As well. Yeah.
Very, very open.
1.5 minutes of the 10 of injury time have been played. It's still 0-0. Scotland look ragged here, and they could be opened up as Nodge goes in on goal. This is a big chance, a cross goal off the post. My goodness, Scotland are holding on here. Still 0-0, but somehow another opportunity. This time Kevin Chauvelot going in on goal, right-hand side, all the way across goal and off Angus Gunn's right-hand post.
I mean, that's 3 massive chances all down this right-hand side, because I think Kenny McLean was up the pitch when that broke. They're finding so much space.
Here comes Scotland though, but not for long as Ryan Christie runs into trouble. That's the Hungarian fans. You hear roaring Szoboszlai on as he makes his way into the penalty area. taken down, but fairly in the challenge. He's claiming for a free kick, nothing forthcoming, and Scotland have it now through Armstrong. What can he create? Plays it infield to McTominay. McTominay now taken out of play there, and it will be a Scotland free kick inside the centre circle.
It's breathless.
In a game that you virtually watched Scotland take max 2-3 touches, pass the ball the whole night. Every player that gets the ball now, they're just running with it.
They are.
It's like primary school football when you just used to try and take on the opposition.
It's brilliant to watch. I'm so pleased the game's actually ignited.
Well, Scotland have the free kick on the edge of the centre circle, and they're throwing everyone forward with 7 minutes of stoppage time left to play. Well, Callum McGregor's staying back, probably advisedly, because there's a Hungarian attacker staying forward. Kenny McLean's going to take this then from the edge of the centre circle. Now Jack Hendry has decided to stay back. He's played out to the left-hand side for Armstrong. Armstrong on the right foot swings it in near post against a poor ball, but only as far as McGregor. 25 yards from goal is blocked there by Adam inside his own penalty area. Breaks out to the right-hand side for Christie. Christie cuts in on the right, on his left foot, stands it up towards the back post. Shanklin won't quite reach that. Can't keep it in play. Behind for a goal kick. What we played now, 93.5 minutes. Scotland 0, Hungary 0.
It's a decent enough ball, but I don't even know if it needs to be that precise in terms of hitting the back area, because there was at least 4 bodies in there, Tom. I thought he could have just kind of clipped
like
into the danger area and maybe
2
even
foot too much.
Yeah.
Here comes Scotland in possession once more. Germany have equalised as there's a slack ball in there from McLean, doesn't quite find Morgan. McGregor trying to snap back in and win it back. Szoboszlai can't get past McLean, and it's out for a throw into Hungary, right hand side, about 15 yards inside Scotland's half. You have to say that 94 minutes into this game, and Peter Gulacsi in the Hungarian goal in a game that Scotland have to win, has not had a save to make.
Yeah. We have looked a wee bit more threatening since the shape change and since the substitutes have come on, but we've also looked more vulnerable.
That's went both ways.
Hanley just knocks it out of play in this near side. It's a Hungarian throw midway inside the Scotland half. Just over 5 minutes left of this game. As back goes Morgan to intercept, and Kenny McLean makes the clearance. He was caught as he made that clearance, and the referee, realising there was no advantage, gives Scotland the free kick at the edge of their own penalty area. Well, this is about a date with destiny, really, for these Scotland players. They have to grasp it in these closing few minutes. As Angus Gunn takes the free kick long over the halfway line, looking for Shanklin. He's done well to just get something on it. Thumped clear though by Hungary, as Hanley will go back towards Angus Gunn once more, heads it back to his goalkeeper, and Gunn again will just roll it out of his area and then launch this one forward. Looking for Armstrong this time. He backs him, but he's beaten in the air by Noj. And now Hungary pick up going down the right hand side with Shobot to lash the ball off the post a moment ago. He can't find the pass this time. Szoboszlai's furious with him, and it's back in the possession of Angus Gunn.
Get it forward.
4 to play in the Stuttgart arena. Scotland 0, Hungary 0. Scotland need a goal. They cannot rely on 2 points being enough to get out of this group. As Hanley plays it to the right hand side for Hendry. Hendry down the line it goes. Looks like Morgan's offside, but he's in a good position. He'll play on anyway. It's slid in, and it's wide of goal from McTominay, and the offside flag does go up.
He's
I'm
well
pretty convinced he was offside, but nonetheless McTominay should have put it in the back of the net.
He should have. I'm almost certain.
He's a foot off.
Yep.
Tighter than I thought it was right enough in first view, and it's actually a really decent ball in from Lewis Morgan once he gets into that area.
Simple stuff though, isn't it? Ball down the channel.
We've now got people willing to run in behind.
Yeah.
Gulacsi then takes the free kick. 1-1 it's finished in Frankfurt between Switzerland and Germany. That will see the hosts top the group, and Scotland somehow find a goal in these closing 3.5 minutes, but it's Hungary looking for likewise, as Noj takes on the effort from 25 yards. He's lashed that one wide, and it will be a Scotland goal kick. 3 to play here in Stuttgart. Scotland 0, Hungary 0, as McLean picks up possession, but he's gone back the way to Angus Gunn. He didn't see any decent options ahead of him, and so Gunn now plays it down the right hand side, flicked on, and Shanklin Good control from him. Can he find the pass now? It's Morgan, edge of the penalty. Armstrong in support. He does try and shoot, but it's breaks for Armstrong. Tries to find him, back to Morgan. The quality just not there for Scotland. Out for a throw-in on this near side, 15 yards from the corner flag. Armstrong waits for some runs, plays it to McLean. Back with Armstrong, 15 yards from goal. Left-hand side, takes on his man. Gets it back to the edge of the penalty area. Comes to Christie. Christie trying to swivel away from his man. Plays it to Shankland. Shankland just squeezes it through. McTominay. Now it's a chance. Oh, it's a save from Galacci. Christie now right-hand side. And it's into the arms of Galacci once more. As Scotland pass up their best chance of the game. Grant Hanley it was with the final effort. Tries to side foot it in, but Galacci was equal to it, and it's still 0-0.
Oh, what a chance. I mean, you want a chance to fall to somebody, probably not Grant Hanley. He puts it at a perfect height for the goalkeeper just to palm it away, and then Christie in the follow-up. He's got to try and pick somebody out in the middle of the box. He goes for the shot.
2 minutes to play, 0-0 it stands as Scotland at last forced Peter Galacci into a save of note, but they couldn't beat him, and that's what they really have to do. Still 0-0 it stands as Hungary go long. Flicked back to his goalkeeper by McKenna. Angus Gunn now could have picked it up, but he goes with the feet, and it's flicked on by Christie. Shankland will go out to that right-hand side and keep it in play.
Just deliver.
Scotland have got bodies in the box. Can he pick one of them out? It's a deep ball. Hanley's in there. Did that come off the arm? It's behind for a corner. Hanley and Leanne were both claiming for handball, but it did look just off the body, and it will be a Scotland corner. Angus Gunn's asking, do I go forward for this? Do I go? Can they risk that? It's 0-0. Steve Clark said 2 points wouldn't be enough to get out of the group, so does he gamble? No, he's holding one of his defenders back as well as Angus Gunn, as Armstrong prepares to send this one in. We're into the final minute of the 10 added on. It's Armstrong from the left-hand side. It's a deep ball. McKenna rises high. Up in the air it goes. It'll come for McGregor. He can't get the shot away. And Hungary scramble it clear. And forward they come. It's Soboslai. Back goes Morgan to try and stay with Sobot as Hungary look to win it late. Now it's Solai. Poor first touch, but still he's into the penalty area. Looks up. Can he pick out a teammate? He can. It's Sobot scored! Hungary have won it! Hungary have broken Scottish hearts! As Kevin Sobot on the counter-attack has potentially put Hungary into the last 16, and what he's definitely done is knock Scotland out of Euro 2024 just as they look to try and pick Hungary off in the dying seconds. It is Hungary who break up the field and through Kevin Sobot beat Angus Gunn to make it Scotland 0, Hungary 1.
That's horrible, absolutely horrible. It was always coming though, one way or another. It was either going to be Scotland that managed to capitalise at one end, or it was going to be Hungary at the other, because this game in the last 10 minutes
has been wild. I don't think I've ever seen anything like the last 10 minutes of the game.
Constant transitions. Scotland punished Switzerland the last game.
It just wouldn't fall. The chance, we had the chance for McGregor, it wouldn't drop for him. It looked like we were going to score. They counter, we're all over the place. It looks like Lewis Morgan's got back into a decent area, but then they pick us off with a brilliant pass out wide right. Our shape's all over the place. He hits the byline, cuts it back, and none of our midfield runners have tracked him.
No, the pick out's brilliant though, in terms of the cutback.
It's a decent finish as well.
It's everything that you work on. Everything that you work on when it comes to that final ball. When you get to the byline.
Well, it's almost impossible to find the words for what's just happened. Kevin Sobot in the final minute of stoppage time, although play will resume. Scotland, well, they know they need at least a goal. The cavalry's gone forward as McKenna feeds it down the right-hand side, headed away as far as Ryan Christie.
Get it in the box.
Tries to turn away from his man, but it's all over. Scotland are out. They have lost to Hungary in a game they had to win. And Kevin Sobot, well, almost the last kick of the ball, has given Hungary a chance. He's on the floor in tears, no doubt with his teammate Barnabas Varga in his mind. And with his stricken centre forward stretcher from the field of play, it's difficult to bear the Hungarians any ill will after the worry of what had happened to their teammate. We really hope that Barnabas Varga makes a full recovery. But Scotland, who came into the final game of Euro 2024 Group A knowing a victory was virtually a must, have failed to even get a point in a game in which they barely troubled Peter Galaci. The Hungarians had all the best chances in the game, and with virtually the last kick, they sealed the victory. They will have to wait to see if the 3 points that they have earned from the group is enough, but Scotland will finish bottom of Group A with a solitary point earned against Switzerland. They ultimately have not been good enough. They gave their all, but it was not good enough. And so it finishes in the Stuttgart arena as the Tartan Army prepare to head home after following their side all around Germany. Well, they have failed to see a Scotland victory, and Hungary emerged with the 3 points this evening. It finishes in Stuttgart. Scotland 0, Hungary 1.